As we go. There we go. Okay, recording started. So hi everyone. My name's John Heberlin. I run the partnerships team here at Kickfurther. You've probably seen emails from myself or Brandy lately. But because we're running the CPGrow pitch competition here at Kickfurther, we're really excited to, get this initiative off the ground. It's been awesome to see the response rate and everything. And we want to thank you all again for applying and, really happy to have you guys as semifinalists. So today is really looking to that next step, right, of perfecting, having Kat and Katie over at Power to Pitch, because one of the parts, obviously, to become a finalist is providing a 60-second pitch on why you think you should pitch live on March 20th. So we really, Kat and Katie are great partners, and this is where they can help brands significantly with their pitch. And obviously, it'll be helpful for your 60-second pitch for your semifinals application, as well as if you're chosen as a finalist and, be able to help, like that will just help your normal pitch in general, but also outside of this, like just refining your pitch, perfecting it as much as you possibly can, right? Will only help as you talk to equity investors or other partners as you're scaling your brand. So really, it's such a valuable resource. We're really excited that, Kat and Katie took the time today because I think you guys will get a ton out of it. So yeah, I'm going to let them take over, run things. So if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand, and Brandy, who's running things, will be able to, let you hop in and be able to ask the questions live. Or if you want to pop them in the chat, feel free. Either or works. Kat and Katie, take it on from here. Thanks so much.
Cool. All right. Can you see my screen okay? Well, we are super, super honored to be here just as much as you are to be in the room. As John said, pitching is kind of our thing. We're extremely obsessed with it, so we're very excited to talk about this topic. But I do want to preface that there is absolutely no such thing as a stupid question with us. Katie and I review thousands of pitches from founders across various industries, stages, needs. So we're truly here for you. We're not here to hear ourselves speak. We want to go over the high-level things on how to really optimize this opportunity, because it's going to parlay into so many other facets of your business and life. So we just want to make sure that you feel comfortable posting in the Q&A, posting in the chat, raising your hand, even coming off mute if you do post something, because we want to make sure that you feel excited and confident in hoping to go live. So with that, this is a high-level agenda for us in the next hour or so. We're going to do a little bit of a mini background on us and why the heck we're qualified to be here and such nerds about pitching and presenting. Then we're going to go over some of the importance of a 60-second and why it's actually going to be super, super crucial outside of just this single opportunity. Some of the pros of using it, some of the top mistakes we see, winning methods, and we are going to have an official Q&A open at the end. But at any point, if you have a specific question about something, or you want us to repeat it or further clarify, give another example, please be sure to post in the chat. Katie is going to be monitoring, so just ask away. And with that, I will let my amazing partner give her background, because I am not going to do it justice.
Well, first of all, congrats to everybody here. We love Kickfurther. We recommend them to all of our CPG businesses because they allow you to get money for other things to help grow your business. I just love this business model. And the main reason why is because I come from a banking background. I come from a debt. I was a commercial mortgage lender for 25 years, doing deals all across the country. And the reason why debt is called leverage is for a great reason, because it helps you pull the levers to move your business forward. So I know the power of that. So Kat and I met because as I was investing, I was also, as I was a lender working for a bank, I was also investing as an angel in CPG and tech companies. And one of my founders hired her to help with a specific pitch and said, you just have to meet each other. I don't know what's going to happen here, but let's see what happens. Well, it totally changed everything. We met 2 years ago and now have helped so many founders to get funded faster and get clear on their pitch and their story so that they can move their business forward as fast as possible.
So you don't have to just take it from me. This is someone who spent 25 years in the banking realm. So if you were to listen to anyone, I mean, she's the one. My background is extremely different, even though Katie and I share the same brain on things. So I like to say I'm a two-time accidental founder. I started a first CPG company in college, won 22 of 23 pitches to fund it, that of which 99% of those applications required a 60-second pitch. And then that allowed me to do retail on Amazon and Good Morning America to get the inventory and funding. And I sold that business after 6 years because I realized I met so many amazing founders who struggled to talk about themselves, what they were building, and what they needed. So the whole mission of Power to Pitch now is to help founders get funded faster. So Katie and I have a fundraising program and a grant program, and we've helped founders secure over 18 million in grants and venture capital. So all of what we're about to share is purely from our experiences, and not only our own, but the founders we've supported. We've helped hundreds of founders secure grant checks from just $5,000 to actual investor dollars, where single checks were 2.5 million plus. So there are a lot of opportunities in relationship building, language, and the order in which you say things are so, so, so important. So that's what we're here to really help you hone in on. With that, we want to start with why the 60-second pitch is so important. And it's not just for this singular pitch opportunity. And I'll let Katie take it from here.
Yeah, you're going to use the 60-second pitch 1,000 times more than anything else you're ever going to say. It forces you to be really simple in your language and tell the story in the fastest way possible so people get it. I can't tell you how many times, somebody starts talking about their business and my eyes just glaze over because I don't know what they're talking about. They're using acronyms, they're using buzzwords. It's about getting that story really clean and tight and being somebody get it right away. You want to have that, like this conversation and this 60-second pitch to lead to the next conversation and the next conversation. That's the whole point of it. And as Kat said, she used hers in numerous pitch competitions and numerous opportunities, grant applications, whatever. You'll use this over and over and over again.
And to this 60-second pitch, so in our fundraising program, we require founders to do this before we even review their longer investor pitch, because this high level portion is actually the foundation for all that you prepare. From the longer pitch to a deck to a one-page or whatever it might be, if you can't be simple in what you're saying, you're going to struggle and word vomit in the worst ways in all other facets that you might have. So this is something that we really force our founders to get extremely clear on, because it can be easy to go through that time. Like that 60 seconds might feel like you blink and it's over, which is why every single word matters. And the preparation for it really, really matters. So this 60-second pitch format too, and think about even some of the grants and pitch opportunities I've done, it has been an elevator pitch where it's written. It could be something that's live. It's something that you should be able to, even if you're nervous, spit out at a networking event, because this, like Katie said, it gets someone excited. It shouldn't be all of the things at once. You want to purposely leave things out in order to garner more interest, because even with other investors, a first meeting is relationship based. So this is a format that allows you to get someone excited about what and how you're doing it. Now, Katie, am I correct that they received this beforehand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'll let Katie talk through this, and it is her brainchild, which has been so, so, so helpful for our founders, because we see 100% of our founders actually struggle more with a 60-second pitch than a 5 to 7 minute pitch. So this really, really forces you to take a step back. But this becomes the bones and the foundation of a lot of the things that you do. And when you do it, some cliches that we like to use, but that we stay true to, is that specific equals sales. So the more specific and clear you can be, the more interest and money you're going to bring in, and broad equals broke, meaning that if you are vague and you're revolutionary and you're the only one in your industry doing this, you're actually going to go broke because no one's going to care and everyone else is using that exact same language. And take it from people who are reviewing thousands of pitches, literally thousands. And I've even helped pick FedEx grant winners before, and they get over 10,000 applications a year, 10,000. And they are so strict on everything. They're like, if someone is using these cliches, if someone doesn't answer these exact pieces, we just throw the thing out. And by the time it's whittled down, there's actually only a few hundred out of the 10,000 that actually follow the directions, which is kind of crazy to think about. People think, oh my God, 10,000, I'm never going to make it to the top, but it's actually a lot easier than you might think. And then niches get riches. That kind of falls into the same category of being extremely specific, and the dollars are going to flow in because, again, you are not revolutionary. You are not the only one doing what you're doing. There are plenty of other ways to say that and garner excitement.
And the way Kat just said, I'm revolutionary and nobody else is doing what I'm doing, it didn't actually say anything about what you're doing. You have no idea. She could be talking about anything from a drinks brand to the most technical tech platform ever. You have no idea what she's talking about, though. So that's why we want you to be very specific about what you're saying. And this exercise was actually born out of a founder that we worked with who we couldn't get a handle on exactly what problem he was trying to solve, exactly what the solution was, and exactly where his target customer was. So those were the three things we were looking for. And as I was putting this exercise together, I thought, well, we can build this out a little bit more and really help understand and help focus the founder on exactly what problem they're solving, the industry that they're in. And this, like Kat said, this forms the bones of your script. And you don't have to say each one of these things in the script, but it focuses you on what you're doing in a very specific way. And you should do this in very, I think we added the example as well, but only a couple words. You shouldn't have to say this. It shouldn't be a full paragraph answering each one of these things. It should be so simple. No adjectives, no adverbs, no big descriptors, just the facts about what you're doing. And we also suggest like revisiting this from time to time, making sure you're focused on these things. It kind of gives you a direction of how to think about your business.
And one thing to caution you on is when you're filling this out, be careful of feeling language and subjective language. No one cares what you think, feel, or believe. You're the one asking for something, so you want to use real stats or facts and proof to be able to prove what you're doing is real versus your excitement or everyone thinks my product is delicious or we have the best reviews. Instead of saying something like that, actually give the metrics or if you can quantify it, always do that. And then another reason that we wanted to create this version is because that same founder, we kept pushing and going through this 60-second over and over. We're asking so many questions, trying to get him to be more clear. And he kept saying, oh, well, it's too complicated. It's too complicated. And that is the biggest red flag, is that this audience, when you're making a 60-second script, if you're pitching to an investor, a retailer, grants, whatever it might be, you can never assume that the audience is a target consumer. You cannot assume that John is going to go into the store, pick up your product, love it, use it, share it with his family, talk to his dog about it, because that is just not the reality. And you never want to assume that or force that on someone. You should be able to use this time to bring them into your world, educate them, make them feel included in understanding you, your story, your passion, the relation to things, versus, oh, this person, they should just get it. That is such a big issue we hear, is they should just get it. It's never the case. I can't tell you a single pitch opportunity that's going to be valid for. And that founder ended up doing this exercise and we fixed the issue pretty quickly. So real quick, I just want to, in going through this format and some of the other previous things, a quick question check. Does anyone have any comments, questions, things that we want to go through, Katie?
There's one question. What does my traction is measured by mean? And that is a great question. So yes, like growth, metrics of success. So traction can mean a lot of things. Traction can mean how many customers you have, how much revenue you have. It can mean if you're pre-product or pre-revenue. Maybe it's how many email signups do you have that are of people that are waiting for your product to launch. It's really, yeah, what are the measurements of success? What does success mean for your business? And in a CPG business, it could be how many retailers are you in? How many units did you sell? What are your top SKUs and what are those, how many did of those sold in certain venues? What's your pull-through rate? Things like that are all tractions. Your followers on social platforms, all of those things are things of traction.
I don't know if she's still in the participant list because I'm sharing my screen, but Lauren Lewin is in the audience and she's one of our founders. And if she wants to make a note of how bullish we are on this 60-second pitch and where she's used it in, she is a prime example. So maybe you don't just have to take our word for it. We did not plant her. She is really awesome, but I bet she can say some things about this that will ring true outside of our opinion. Any other questions, Katie, before we go to the next?
Yeah, we do. Hold on. Okay, so I have a journal company. What category does this fall under? When I have to fill something out, there's never a category that specifies it. Does it matter to be accurate? So it's mindset, self-development. So it sounds like
Is it a physical journal or like
yeah, if it's a physical journal, that's a CPG product, I would say. And it could be also in the self-help category, I would think. Let's see, we have another question. If you own your own manufacturing, can the main thing I need money for be both inventory and expanding your manufacturing base? Yes, you should. When you talk about money, this is one of Kat's favorite things. Talk about, and we're going to get to this later, but talk about how you can bucket it into different buckets. Kat, do you want to give an example of that?
Yes. So this is any grant opportunity, even outside of this. And you have to think about Kickfurther in this situation. Why are they picking you? What benefit do they also get by picking you? There is supposed to be a mutual benefit in this opportunity. It is not them being selfish. They absolutely deserve to do that. And they want to choose someone who's going to make the biggest impact if there were to be PR on top of this. So you want to think about that in any pitch opportunity, that you want to be speaking and thinking about what Kickfurther would also like and how they want to support you, how they're going to further support you, not just even a one-off, how you're going to build the relationships. When you choose when you want to pitch live, you want to speak to maybe the top 3 in this short period of time. The top 3 things are the level of impact of what it's going to do. Just saying one thing can be fine, but if someone else is choosing 3 really specific things, it's probably going to be more impactful for them, and they're going to want to choose someone who has the biggest reach versus one major issue. And that may be the case that you have one major issue, but if you can spread out into top 3 buckets, that's typically what we like to see, what the impact of that is, what metrics you can associate versus this is going to be instrumental for my business. 99% of people say that. That didn't tell me anything about how it's going to help you in the business. So get extremely specific on KPIs, level of metrics, what can you quantify, what works, what doesn't, and then how it directly relates to Kickfurther. So another FedEx example is there were so many people who didn't ship product, and they were tech companies applying for the FedEx grant. But FedEx selfishly would want someone who's shipping product and how they can build a relationship with them in shipping products. So they would automatically throw out applications who weren't shipping related. And maybe there's a tech component, but if you don't think about how you're directly relating to what they're doing, you're just going to make it harder for yourself to get to the top.
And with Kickfurther, they're providing inventory financing, right? But that's money that you would have to spend on inventory, holding up your inventory. But if you can use that, now you can free up that other money that you were going to allocate towards that with Kickfurther money to spend on marketing or to spend on point of sale materials or help hire an expert in something. So think about those other things of how that's going to help move your business and how it's going to help move the revenue, how it's going to increase your revenue by using this leverage that you're getting from Kickfurther.
And also, don't underestimate the in-kind services. It is not just 150K for Kickfurther. There are additional businesses who have put a value on the services that you would get if you won. So do not leave those out, because I assure you, you're not going to be at the top of the list if you forget about them.
Yep. We have a couple more questions. Why don't we keep going? We'll come back to them. How's that?
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Katie, do you want to talk about the Chow Pappy example, and then I can go through the other?
Yes. So this is one of our fabulous founders, Francesca. She is the founder and CEO of Chow Pappy, which makes marinara sauces. So as a part of our program, she created her 60-second script. That was the first thing she did. And then she got the opportunity to pitch for a grant opportunity, and they required a 60-second video. So she used her script that she created with us to create a video. Then she submitted that. Then she took that and put it on her Instagram. And as of the first, or a couple days ago, she had 123 likes. But it's a great way to introduce yourself and to talk about what you're doing to your customers. So this is a perfect example of repurposing all of these things into other content. This is going to be used so widely when you get clear and concise on telling your story. So here, if you guys want more examples of this and other formats or other pitch scripts, just comment yes in the chat and we'll make sure that everybody gets that.
Yeah, we've got a ton of examples. I'll read one more just so you can kind of listen to how fast and what kind of information is stated from one of our founders that we had. But we have a ton of other examples. Sometimes it's helpful to see how things are structured. It's not a one size fits all. And the only difference in what I'm about to read is you want to talk about the impact of pitching live. The example that I'm going to speak to does not, because they are not in this direct pitch opportunity, but here it goes. So we are the founders of Hike Plus. As graduates of the Fashion Institute of Technology, we met during our decade-long careers in the luxury fashion industry. With over 1,000 miles hiked between us, we connected over our love for the outdoors and shared frustrations with women's outdoor clothing. Women make up 46% of all US outdoor consumers, note the stat. Yet the features we look for remain underserved. With only 12.5% of the largest outdoor companies being led by women, brands are guessing on what women want and coming up with a shrink it and pink it formula. With our extensive experience in fashion and the outdoors, we're building Hike Plus, a premium women's outdoor brand and hiking community. Since our launch, sales have grown 212% year over year, and our hike community has grown 6x. We've been featured in Forbes, Outside Magazine, and received an Apex Award for Design Innovation. Join Hike Plus to inspire, educate, and enable women to explore the outdoors. It was very clear, concise. Every single word means something. They used a stat, and they directly related the stat to the problem. They talked very high level about themselves, their background, why they're qualified to solve the problem. We know exactly what they create, who they serve, and then you would just exchange maybe 1 or 2 sentences out for the impact and why you deserve and how you would maximize being live for this pitch opportunity. But again, make sure comment yes in the chat, and then we will get additional examples for you after this call plus the recording. You want to go through another question, Katie?
Sure. So we've got one question about how do they get in touch with us. I put our LinkedIn in the chat. We'll also have at the end of our presentation, can have our QR codes. You can also go to powertopitch.com and check us out there. So for the purposes of this conversation, is a 60-second pitch primarily an amazing script, talking head style video, or would it incorporate slides or imagery in some way?
Well, how about we go to the next slide?
Yeah, go to the next slide. So here are some of the secrets that we have when you're putting this together. So one, use Grammarly, which is free, to time out your script. It will tell you what your speaking time is. Look at the speaking time, not the reading time, because reading time is much faster than speaking time. You can record yourself on Loom or Zoom. And again, that will time you and also allow you to practice, and then use Splice or Descript to edit. And Kat, as I put
I
in
use
here.
both of those. I am
Yeah.
not a technical person. Katie actually added the cat love portion without me seeing that. And we didn't have time for me to make any updates. So that is courtesy of Katie, and it is a true passion. But I'm not a technical person. I am not a good editor. I don't want to be. But these two tools were so affordable, flexible, really easy to learn. And I actually use them for so many things outside of just that 60-second pitch script. And when you learn how to do it, not only is it empowering, but you're going to save so much time on these people trying to do fancy edits and things. But the Splice is just one that you can do on your phone. I use the free version. There's just a lot to utilize, but create your actual written portion first before even bothering to just show up and speak on camera. You want to have every word memorized. And that is something, and one of the reasons I won so many of those pitches is because I was one of the most well-rehearsed people. So even if I was nervous, my body already knew what to do. And then for if you want to put things together, Splice and Descript will allow you to add overlay. Unless otherwise stated in any rubric, you don't have to do fancy things. Francesca's from Ciao Pappy actually did a really great job of it. It was very simple. It was recorded on her phone. She edited it herself. It's more fun and memorable if you do that to showcase yourself or the product, or you're behind the scenes, or you're in your manufacturing facility, you've got boxes, whatever it might be. You can do something that's specific with matching visuals, not stock imagery. Don't waste your time if it's going to be stock imagery. Do something specific. Take it the hour or so to edit it. Again, on your phone is totally fine. And be okay with recording it multiple times. It's not going to come out right the first time. Take that from someone who's pitched thousands and thousands of times over. It's absolutely not going to happen. You're human, but these are our favorite tools. And as you're editing that pitch script, Grammarly will literally like in real time, you can see if you're adding or changing words or sentences or taking out maybe 5 filler words, maybe that takes 5 seconds away. And also be mindful when you're editing, if the requirement is exactly 60 seconds, do not make it 61 seconds. That was another FedEx thing. I've judged a ton of other pitch competitions. If it was 1 second over, they throw it out. It's just to save them time. For people who don't follow directions and aren't detail oriented, they don't want anything to do with you. So be very mindful that even in the editing, that's why every word counts. Do not go over it. Now, in terms of recording tips, I'll let Katie start with this one, and then I can go over some of the modes.
Yeah, so to kind of build in some of the questions that are coming in, this is a screenshot of me in a video that I did of being a talking head. I'm clearly wearing the exact same outfit. I did not do this just before, I promise. I guess I just wear this outfit a lot. But it is, you can see I'm filled up the entire screen, and I'm sort of putting out forward energy. So I'm trying to bring energy into it and pull people in. Like I'm telling you a secret here. So that kind of putting forth that energy, if you're just going to be a talking head, which is perfectly fine, this is a good way to do it. And using a neutral background that's not distracting and that is very clean. Kat and I once were listening to a founder pitch to us, and they had trash cans in the background. That was not a good background.
3 trash cans. It's a real thing. We actually were like, is she serious?
Yeah.
This is real life, and it was a ripped shirt. So it's that's all we could focus on, and that's what we remember out of that is how bad it was.
Exactly. So also you want to make sure you have good sound. And here's a tip that Kat and I learned from video experts. Use cinematic mode when you're recording yourself on your iPhone. It makes everything look so pretty. So that's just a little quick tip. That's an option on your video, and it makes everything look great. So if you're not going to just be a talking head, absolutely splice in videos of your manufacturing, videos of your product. You'll see in the example that we send you from Francesca, She shows herself using competitors' products. She shows herself in her warehouse, which is actually her garage, things like that. So it's really, it's whatever you want to do that is going to be effective for you, but make sure that it's matching what you're talking about at the time. Don't have it be random, have it all flow together.
Also, be mindful of your tone because you have such a short period of time in doing practices. Make sure that your voice is clear, strong, avoiding likes and ums. It's more common than you might think. You can use apps like Speeko, Speeko, that will actually tell you and help train you on some of your tonage. But the whole point of this video is that you're giving off passion, energy, clarity, and confidence so that that other person watching your submission feels that. It is something that is contagious. If you have low energy, you can't expect someone to be excited about what you're doing if you're not bringing the excitement. And as Katie was saying, look at when she's talking about filling the space, this is how much space from her head, or if your full body is in it, there shouldn't be a ton of white space up here. That's just some basic formatting that you should be mindful of. And that was from actually a professional video editor who does Jamin John's YouTube, by the way. We didn't make this up, and I would have never thought of something like this. Again, not the editor type person, but some of these little tiny things, they're going to add up. It might feel weird or overwhelming filming, recording yourself. You should also absolutely not be reading from a script. It is 60 seconds. You can have it memorized. There's a lot of money and opportunity on the line, so treat it as such. We can tell when someone is actually reading from a script, or they've got something in their hand, or they look down at notes on their hand. That just shows laziness and a lack of initiative. And there's too many people applying for this opportunity for you to not take the time to rehearse it. And what I would actually do is, it can feel overwhelming, whether it's a small or longer pitch, is I would start line by line. I would repeat it and tally, okay, I did this one sentence and I really like the confidence that comes out. The tonality, bringing your voice up, shows a level of maturity in voice versus keeping it the same. So when you bring your voice up on specific words, the person watching it is going to remember that. So you want to bring it up on stats, things that are important, metrics, money, product lines, things like that. Those pauses are also important versus rushing through and speaking super fast, because no one is going to pause, slow down, and rewatch your video either. It's probably going to be a 1 or 2 and done, and they're going to pass it to someone if it was cool and unique or memorable. So just keep that in mind. Tonality also matters, and your flailing hand movements, if you're swiveling in a chair like this while you're reading, also super distracting. We've seen that. In terms of what you wear, branded clothing is usually always fine, something more formal. But again, the ripped t-shirts, we've seen someone just, they're messy, their bed was unmade in the background and they're in the closets open. That's just, again, lazy. Find a blank wall if you have to. Go buy your product, put your products behind you, or be physically holding them if you don't want to splice images over. It's going to be important because this is about inventory or what or how you're doing things. So make sure to include that. So that's an easy way to save time, is like part of what you do is around you in a video. We could be here all day with mistakes, but we're going to stick with these few just for the sake of time.
Yeah, so the first one that we see way, way, way too often is not addressing the rubric or the questions or the what instructions you were given absolutely specifically. For example, the video should be no more than 60 seconds. Do not think 61 seconds is okay. It's not okay. So follow exactly what they want you to say. If Kickfurther has said, we want you to talk about your inventory, we want you to talk about your revenues, we want you to talk about how many SKUs you have, make sure all 3 of those things are in there. And I just made those up on the fly, but they're going to give you specific things that they're going to want to see. Follow them to the letter. Don't tell people what you think they want to hear. Talk about the things that they've asked you they want to hear about. And then Kat loves the buzzwords and cliches. We touched on this earlier. You're not revolutionary.
More if you want.
Yeah.
I have a whole running list. Well, actually, I've seen, so I went to this really, really big investor pitch. It was for a 100K investment. There were 6 or maybe 8 founders, I think. And I took notes that let's say there were 8. 7 out of the 8 all used the exact same buzzwords. The revolutionary, there's no one like us, we're solving $1 billion problem, I'm on a mission, I feel that we're the team best suited for this, everyone loves our product, we've only had positive reviews. None of that taught us anything. And it kind of became laughable because all 8 companies were completely different industries, but they all use that language. So instead, it's replacing with the proof of how people love your product, the traction, what it specifically is meant to be, or who it serves. You have all those pieces, so you have to get niche for a reason, because again, you're not talking to a target consumer or someone who just gets it. Don't use I feel, I think, I believe. We cannot stress that enough. We see that in so many of our pitches. And then 2 is to reiterate, it is so obvious when someone has not practiced or they come to the table and they wing it. You want to write out what you want to say. This is such a short period of time that it shouldn't take you that long. We have a ton of examples and exercises to give you again for inspiration. So do yourself a favor and actually take the time to sit, put it in Grammarly if you need to. Now for the good stuff. The most impressive pitches we see, and actually the ones that we only pass on through our program, are ones that lead with their story. They include facts and stats. They are very clear on who they serve and what their offering is. They have some traction, and they do have an ending tagline. That is the only time we allow our founders to be cliche. It could be something punny, but as long as it's memorable or you tie in the Kickfurther opportunity or other services in some way, that's going to make sure that, hey, you've utilized this time properly. And I'm actually going to put this on a pillow for Katie's birthday, because even though she's an active angel in over 19 companies, a clearly intelligent woman who managed over 10 billion of real estate still says to our founders, talk to me like I'm 5 years old. Again, audience, not a target consumer. Assume that they're tired, they're old, they don't care. So how do you get them to care? You have to make it so stupid easy for them that take it from an active angel investor in 19 companies. Like, dumb it down, bring it back. Don't use crazy acronyms. That's another thing. Even though you're in a short period of time for a 60-second pitch, don't assume someone knows what your acronyms mean. Unless it's something very simple like a KPI, like average order value, AOV, or it could be even lifetime value.
Like customer acquisition cost, or
those are the only times you should really use one. And the most important thing is that the use of funds, which in this opportunity, like here, equates to the opportunity. Use 1 to 2 lines to specifically speak to how it's going to impact you, the business, why it means something to you, and specifically not that just it's going to impact your business so much. Give the actual metrics as to how and why.
Yeah, this is a key one. So if you are going to get the $150,000, tell them exactly how that's going to impact your revenues. I'm going to be able to use this money towards X, Y, and Z, which will make my revenue grow by A% in B months. That level of specificity is going to really take you to the next level and show how impactful those dollars are. If it's about some of the partners, if it's Forecaster, for example, we love Forecaster. I love a financial model. I'm a finance person. So if you're going to use their services, which we highly recommend, it's literally the biggest thing we recommend to our founders is getting your financial model in check. Tell them what that's going to do for your business, how it's going to help you envision the future, how you're going to be able to project what you're doing, how it's going to show the levers you're going to push to impact your revenue. Be able to speak about that kind of stuff. It's really impactful.
And then we're going to make sure we save time for more questions, but both of our LinkedIns are here. Katie, I don't know if you want to repost them in the chat or if they're at the top of the chat. I can't see. And if you want to learn more about Katie and our grant program, where we share 1 to 200 new grants every single month, non-dilutive funding, or our fundraising program where we connect founders with investors in their industry, you can go to powertopitch.com, and Katie will post that in the chat as well. But we're extremely active on LinkedIn. We share tons of founder resources, stories. We continue to promote and support Kickfurther, and we wouldn't be here if we didn't think it was worth your time and the energy to make and take this pitch opportunity seriously, because this 60-second pitch is a foundation for so many things. Again, not only will it be for this competition, I used it in 99% of all the ones that I've ever done. And I had the same format. Maybe I tweaked numbers or like a new product edition, but I had almost the same format for 2 years. Like I just re-edited the video slightly over and over again with overlays, and it worked. It was 6 figures in capital that I secured, that a 60-second pitch helped me secure. Granted, there were some other factors in there, but that was part of one of the requirements in me getting to secure that money to move my business forward. So we're going to open the floor. Again, no question is a stupid question. You're welcome to, once we get to your question, you're welcome to come off mute and further explain or add on if needed, but the rest of the time is now yours.
So here's a question. Can you talk a bit about my revenue model is? We sell wholesale and retail, and I charge my customer. We have hundreds of SKUs. Okay, that's awesome. It sounds like you have a great business going. Congratulations. So yes, that's exactly right. You would say I sell a product, and you could put the total number of products that you sell, and you charge your customer a range. It's about being simple in what you're saying. So your lowest cost product to your highest cost product. It doesn't have to be that's as specific. It's just I sell this product in retail and wholesale, or D2C and wholesale, and we have X number of SKUs that are sold between X dollars and Y dollars.
Or think about too, if your top selling SKUs. So you can speak to, maybe you have an overarching like mission or function of the business in terms of whether it's like accessories or whatever it might be, but say our top selling SKUs include, and that's it. You don't have the time to go through everything. No one actually cares about all 100. That doesn't mean that it's not valid or not good, but in the limited amount of time, either what Katie said or even just summarize what your top selling SKUs are.
So we have a question on recording on your iPhone. Should it be landscape or vertical, horizontal or vertical? It depends.
John,
So,
is that in the rubric, does it say which you prefer?
No, we didn't add in the rubric. So in this case, yeah, it could be either. And then Katie, I'll let you finish your point.
yeah, so the if you do it vertical like I showed, that you can use for Reels and Instagram, which is great. And you can also use for YouTube Shorts, which is the perfect amount of time, 60 seconds. So if you were doing a longer form YouTube video, for example, you'd want to film it in landscape mode. Let's see. Okay. Is it okay to show off any awards you've received for your product if it doesn't take up too much time? Yes.
Yes, please do it.
Please. It's a great way to, I talk about this a lot. Visibility and credibility are what you need as a startup to be successful. Awards give you credibility and visibility. So yes, focus on those. Those are also a form of traction because it's showing that people are recognizing you for having a great product. Oh, okay. We have a comment here. As a movie producer, landscape is not good unless you are making Lawrence of Arabia. Not everyone has an iPhone, so in my opinion, shoot standard to fill the screen, follow the panelist suggestions as they are on point. Thank you so much, David. I'm glad we were good there.
Really quick, Katie, if just before I don't forget, the line that I read out loud around awards. So this founder said one line about sales, that Hike Club, and said, we've been featured in Forbes, Outside Magazine, and received an Apex Award for design innovation. They had 3 very different things that were related to the industry. So we've had one beverage founder receive 21 gold awards for X, Y, and Z. Absolutely list them. But again, like super simple like that, where it's one sentence. I just wanted to make sure I bring up that example one. It's the exact one that I read off.
Okay, here's another question. Can you recommend any resources to help with forecasting finance model? Yes, Forecaster. I will put their website in the chat.
And if you mention Power to Pitch, we actually get our recommendations get I think $250 or even $500. I forgot. It's a big discount as long as you mention Power to Pitch. We have a really great partnership with them, and we highly recommend it.
And they are a sponsor of this competition, right, John?
Yes, Jeff and the team over at Forecaster are amazing. So please check them out. You will not be disappointed.
We second and third that, and fourth that, and fifth that. We love them. Okay, let's see. Is it recommended to cut away from our beautiful products or stick with my face throughout? What do you think, Kat?
It is totally up to you. How comfortable you are, how visual your product or process is. If it's something you can hold and go one way through and it's less editing, do it. If it's something where you're feeling creative and it's maybe a little more advanced and you want to do super short bits about it, do that too, where it's customer centric, maybe they're using or wearing or whatever it might be. Make the best thing that I would do is sometimes I would second guess myself when I was making these videos, or I would really overthink it. So I would say, okay, these are my top 3 versions and ideas. If I did this one, this is what it would look like. And when I would play them, it took me 30 seconds to add something extra in. I could easily tell which one made me feel more confident or excited about the video. Or I would send it to 3 friends. Out of these top 1, 2, or 3, what's your favorite? And I would have them vote. So that's another way too, where if you want a little extra validation, it doesn't always have to be you. I know the founder life can be super lonely. So go ask someone else what they think about it. Because again, you're going to have an outside person viewing your application for this. So don't be afraid to ask someone and even go back and edit.
Yeah, I think with this, if you have a CPG product, show it. I mean, you've put your blood, sweat, and tears into this. Show off what your amazing branding is. Show off what the product is. Show how like fabulous it is. So that would be my recommendation. If you can hold it, that's great. Okay. Is there anything that funders don't want to hear you use the money for that will be a turnoff?
That's a you question.
So investors don't, I mean, look, from an investor perspective, I don't want to hear you say, I am raising $300,000 and $250,000 is going to go to pay my salary. That doesn't work for me. I want the money to go into the business, and I want my money to be impactful to your bottom line. So what you have to be mindful. I don't want my founders to starve by any means, but I also want you to be a little bit hungry, because your payoff is going to come when you exit the company. If you are a company that is not taking on investment and looking for Kickfurther or other grants or other things like that, and you are going to use it to pay salaries, that's okay. But I would also really encourage you, like I said before, to get gritty about the numbers and say, if I make an investment in this area, if I, for example, create more inventory, which will bring my cost of goods sold down, that'll improve my margins by X%. Or I'm going to spend this many dollars on influencer marketing, which I have never done before, but I want to test it out. And I think, what I'm projecting is that it's going to increase revenues by this amount. So showing these very specific levers to impact revenue, to lower costs, increase margins, increase your net operating income, or get you to profitability, even better. All of those things are the things that people want to see you spend money on. So it's really not
quantified all of that. She didn't say it's going to impact our business a ton and get us to profitability. She listed actual metrics.
Yeah. So it comes down to investment in the business. And if you are spending on salaries for an expert in a field, say you're not a marketing person and you really need one, that's a good investment. If you need to pay somebody a salary to come on board and they're really going to move the needle, that is an investment in the business. So that's okay. It's really the turnoff I have is to have it be paying a founder salary. Next question. How do they feel about using money to reduce debt? So that as an investor, it's not great because that's paying off old things. It's not moving the needle to new things. In terms of Kickfurther, though, I kind of like that, to use the money to, you're getting a better financing option. John, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think utilizing Kickfurther, which then frees up your cash, maybe again to pay off those other any other debt and to reduce it, does make a business stronger, right? Because Kickfurther doesn't act as a debt on the balance sheet, so then by reducing debt, it makes your financials stronger. And then when you're talking to Katie, some other angels, VCs, and having a stronger debt to revenue ratio now because you're paying that off makes your business stronger financially. So yeah, for sure.
Yep. So it depends on what you're using it for, or what your audience is. Let's see. Okay, does the same go for sharing amount of grant funds won? I always wonder if that's more of a hindrance, even though it just show traction. I think that probably has to go with maybe with the awards, how to talk about awards. Kat, do you want to field that? What about?
Yeah, so I would actually urge you to not say that, honestly, unless you're specifically asked. There's some applications will say, hey, list previous funding with their grant, investor, debt, equity, whatever it might be. You can say we were the top winner or top company at, let's say, for example, it was the WeBank pitch competition, or say first place there, or whatever. If that's the only other accolade or award, but you're better off speaking to actual company, customer, product traction metrics, number of 5-star reviews, or velocity, year-over-year increases, the dollar value from grants. Yes, that's great PR marketing and validation, but I don't recommend putting that in as part of your actual awards portion. That's a great question.
So here's the next question. In the 60-second, we talk about what the funds would be used for, correct? Yes, we would highly recommend you do that for this competition specifically.
One line, you can do it in one line, literally.
Yeah. And then John and Brandy will come back to you on where, and you should submit the video. That's part of the question. Where do they submit the video and when? Here's another question. Can you expand on how to find grant opportunities for small businesses? Thanks. Kat?
So we actually created a whole program because we were turning away so many founders in our fundraising program. So we have one that's meant to be more affordable and lifetime access, where we shared the 1 to 200 grants every single month. You can look at them forever and ever. We have national and global. Katie, if you're able to post that. So we talk about specifically, outside of even just what we shared in this webinar, how to secure them, before and after examples, even the grants that I won, the amounts, and how I utilized it, every single detail, we share it there, because you can spend a lot of manual time trying to search and plan them backwards on your calendar. But with this program, we share 1 to 200 new ones every single month.
We also go into depth on other capital sources, and including crowdfunding, crowd lending, and then debt sources. I specifically talk about Kickfurther in the program because we love it so much. And all of these sources, taking on non-dilutive and being able to hold on to as much of your company as possible and to grow the business. Debt is so much cheaper than equity. So don't sleep on those kinds of opportunities. Not every business needs to take on investors. Okay, we have another question here. On the website, it says, register for the live pitch competition. So does that mean the money we're competing for needs to be specifically used for inventory? John, do you want to take that one?
I'll hop in that. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so for the funding, it would be tied to specific inventory, and it could be inventory you're looking to place, upcoming inventory you maybe have recently placed. So depending on depending on your business, you might be able to look at both options. But yeah, the funding would actually be tied to the for your inventory specifically.
Let's see. I think I've gotten all the questions. Oh, wait, we just got another one. Okay. You've mentioned the rubric. Is the rubric the organize your story doc? No, I think John and the team, that's just an exercise for you guys to use. John and the team have put together what they want out of the 60-second pitch, right?
Yes, yeah, in the body of the email, and again, we'll be sending it tomorrow again, so you'll have it at the top of your inboxes. But there's things that will be judged, on the when you submit the video, and then obviously live day of too as well.
If anyone's got anything.
Yeah, we have a couple more minutes.
Well, if not, John, do you want to wrap us up then? I know there's going to be some updates going out, and for those who commented, Katie and I are going to share some more examples, our LinkedIn's, ways that we can further support you, but the recording is going out and we'll let John take it from here. But Katie and I are super grateful, and hopefully this helped. Again, it's strictly supposed to be for your benefit. We're only sharing from experiences, but we're grateful for the Kickfurther team for letting us share it with you.
Yes, no, Kat and Katie, thank you so much. This was really valuable. I learned a lot today, especially as I look in my background, even though with the blurred background and I have clothes in the bed, I'm like, oh no, I'm falling on the bad habits already. So everyone can improve, obviously. But no, thank you again for taking the time. Very valuable. So yes, we already sent one email, but we're going to follow up tomorrow with just, so it's at the top of your email box, what steps need to be done. We will provide the recording of this webinar so you guys can rewatch it as many times as you like, because there's a lot of valuable information around that. And then if you have any questions, you can send that to partnerships@kickfurther.com, and that'll go to Brandy and myself. We'll answer anything. And then Kat and Katie will be following up with an email of their own with different resources, everything that they mentioned from this call. But outside of that, yeah, I think that's everything. So again, Kat, Katie, thank you so much for providing your expertise. It was amazing. So really excited for everyone that was able to join today. Hopefully, I think they all got a ton of value on it. And thank you all for the attendees for joining. Appreciate taking the time.
Yeah, good luck to everybody. Thank you so much. I cannot wait to see how everybody does. I'm really, really looking forward to this competition. And I just think it's such a great group of people. So good luck to everybody. Thanks for having us.
Thanks again, everyone. Bye.